I'm glad you're here at Beyond 60 Stories, where every life has a story to tell. There is a quiet truth about love after 60 that few people speak about openly, and yet almost everyone feels. We assume that desire fades with age, that intimacy becomes mechanical or predictable, that the deep hunger of connection belongs to youth. But what if that assumption is completely wrong? What if the emotional landscape of intimacy actually grows richer, more layered, and more vulnerable as we age? In today's video, we're exploring something many women over 60 rarely hear explained with honesty. The subtle things men secretly crave during foreplay, especially the one desire they almost never admit out loud. It is not about performance, not about comparison to the past, and certainly not about perfection. It is about something far deeper, something that touches identity, dignity, and emotional safety. Before we begin, tap that like button and subscribe to Beyond 60 Stories so we can continue having conversations that honor mature love with respect and depth. Lesson 1. He craves emotional permission more than physical urgency. There is something that changes in a man after 60 that few women are ever told, and it is this. He no longer seeks intensity first, he seeks permission. Not permission in a literal sense, not a verbal request, but emotional permission to be present without pressure. When he enters foreplay at this stage of life, he is not only responding physically, he is navigating decades of expectations about masculinity, stamina, dominance, and performance. Even if he appears confident on the surface, there is often a quiet tension underneath, a question that hums in the background. Am I still enough? Foreplay, for a mature man, is rarely about speed or conquest. It is about atmosphere. If he moves slowly, if he lingers in touch rather than rushing toward outcome, if he pauses to read your breathing or your eyes, he is not stalling. He is searching for safety. He is listening for cues that tell him he does not need to prove himself. At this age, the fear of inadequacy can be more powerful than desire itself. And if he senses even subtle evaluation, subtle comparison, or subtle impatience, his body may continue, but his emotional presence will withdraw. What he secretly craves is the feeling that he is invited, not inspected, that his touch is welcomed, not measured, that his rhythm can unfold naturally without silent judgment. Emotional permission means your energy says, you are enough as you are right now. It is conveyed in your breathing, in how your hands respond, in the absence of tension in your expression. It is not theatrical reassurance, it is quiet acceptance. Many women over 60 misunderstand this. They assume he wants heightened stimulation, dramatic excitement, or visible proof of passion. But often what bonds him most deeply is when he senses that the moment is shared rather than evaluated, when you relax into the pace rather than directing it, when your touch mirrors rather than commands, when your presence communicates that the goal is connection, not comparison to the past. If he feels that emotional permission, something changes inside him. His breathing deepens, his shoulders soften, his attention becomes focused not on himself but on you. He begins to associate you with relief rather than performance. And relief at this stage of life is profoundly powerful. A man may chase excitement with many women, but he attaches to the one who removes pressure. Lesson 2. He wants to feel zazide, not demanded. There is a difference between being wanted and being required, and for a man over 60, that difference becomes deeply significant during intimacy. When foreplay begins at this stage of life, he is not simply responding to physical cues. He is reading emotional signals. He is asking himself whether his presence is appreciated or whether his performance is expected. After decades of carrying responsibilities, expectations, and quiet pressures to always be strong, capable, and decisive, the last thing he longs for in closeness is another invisible demand. What he secretly craves instead is to feel chosen freely, not summoned out of obligation. Many women believe that enthusiasm must be dramatic to be effective, but what resonates most with a mature man is authenticity. If your desire feels genuine, if your touch lingers with curiosity rather than urgency, if your gaze communicates admiration rather than evaluation, he senses it immediately. He wants to feel that you are drawn to him not because he fulfills a role, but because you genuinely enjoy him. That subtle difference shapes his emotional response. When desire is offered softly and without pressure, it feels like an invitation. When it is loaded with expectation, it feels like performance. At this age, men are acutely aware of change. They know their bodies are not what they once were. They may not speak openly about it, but they feel it. If foreplay carries even a faint tone of urgency, comparison, or silent measurement, it can trigger a quiet anxiety that pulls him out of the moment. But if your energy communicates patience, warmth, and curiosity, something inside him relaxes. He begins to feel desired for who he is now, not for who he once was. That recognition is powerful. What he rarely admits is that feeling desired without pressure restores something essential in him. It restores dignity. It reminds him that he is still attractive, still relevant, still worthy of tenderness. When you initiate touch gently, when you respond to him with warmth rather than expectation, when you allow the rhythm to unfold naturally rather than driving it toward outcome, he feels appreciated rather than tested. Appreciation creates openness. Testing creates tension. This is why some women remain unforgettable long after a relationship ends. They did not demand proof. They did not push for performance. They offered desire as a gift rather than a requirement. A man can sense the difference between being pursued out of genuine attraction and being engaged out of habit or obligation. When he feels freely desired, he associates that feeling with you. He may not articulate it clearly, but he will remember the relief of not having to measure up. And here's the quiet lead into something even deeper. Once he feels emotionally permitted and freely desired, there is one final craving that binds him more strongly than any physical act, a desire so subtle that most women overlook it entirely. Lesson 3. He craves to be trusted. With your winnability, there is a depth of foreplay after 60 that has very little to do with technique and almost everything to do with trust. And this is where many women underestimate their power. A man at this stage of life has seen enough of the world to know that physical desire can be found in many places, but emotional exposure is rare. During foreplay, beneath the touch and the warmth and the shared breath, there is often a quiet emotional exchange happening. He is not only asking whether you desire him, he is asking whether you trust him. When you allow yourself to soften without guarding every expression, when you let your breathing become natural rather than controlled, when your face reflects real feeling rather than practiced response, you are communicating something deeper than attraction. You are signaling that you feel safe enough to let go, and that signal changes him. Men are often expected to be the strong ones, the steady ones, the emotionally contained ones. When a woman trusts him with her vulnerability, he experiences something profoundly grounding. It gives him purpose beyond performance. What he rarely admits is that being trusted awakens a protective instinct that is emotional rather than physical. It is not about dominance or control, it is about responsibility. If he senses that you feel emotionally safe enough to open yourself without tension, he feels honored. That feeling of being trusted with something fragile and real becomes more intoxicating than excitement alone. It speaks to identity. It tells him he is more than a body responding to touch. He is someone capable of holding space for you. Many women over 60 have learned to protect themselves. They have endured disappointment, heartbreak, and years of emotional complexity. They may unconsciously hold back even in moments of closeness, not out of indifference, but out of self-preservation. Yet when foreplay becomes a space where you allow authenticity instead of control, he feels it immediately. Your willingness to be present, to let emotion show, to trust him with your tenderness, creates a bond that goes far beyond physical memory. Trust transforms the rhythm of intimacy. It slows things down naturally. It deepens eye contact. It changes the tone of touch. When he feels that you trust him not just with your body but with your emotional openness, something in him commits. He begins to associate you with significance rather than stimulation. Lesson 4. The one desire he will almost never admit. There is one craving that sits beneath all the others, quieter than desire and deeper than touch. And most men will never say it out loud because it exposes something they have spent a lifetime hiding. During foreplay after 60, beneath the warmth and closeness, beneath the careful pacing and the unspoken questions, what he secretly longs for is reassurance that he still matters, not just physically, not just romantically, but existentially at this stage of life. A man has lived long enough to confront decline. He has felt strength, shift, relevance, questioned, roles, change. He may have retired from a career that once defined him. He may no longer be the provider in the same way. He may not be admired publicly the way he once was. Intimacy becomes one of the last spaces where he can still feel significant. And what he craves most during foreplay is not proof that he can perform, but confirmation that he still has impact. When we speak about love after 60, we often focus on passion as if it were something fragile that fades with time. But what truly deepens with age is not intensity, it is awareness. The truth beneath everything we have explored is simple, yet powerful. What a man secretly craves during foreplay is not performance, not perfection, and not comparison to youth. He craves emotional permission, to feel desired without pressure, to be trusted with your vulnerability, and above all, to know that he still matters in the most intimate space of all. A man may experience physical closeness with many women, but he bonds deeply with the one who allows him to age without humiliation and to desire without pressure. He attaches to the woman who makes him feel significant, not scrutinized, chosen, not evaluated, welcomed, not tested. That feeling becomes memory, and memory becomes longing. If this conversation resonated with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Beyond 60 Stories, because these reflections are meant to be shared slowly, thoughtfully, and together. When we speak about love after 60, we often focus on passion as if it were something fragile that fades with time. But what truly deepens with age is not intensity, it is awareness. The truth beneath everything we have explored is simple, yet powerful. What a man secretly craves during foreplay is not performance, not perfection, and not comparison to youth. He craves emotional permission, to feel desired without pressure, to be trusted with your vulnerability, and above all, to know that he still matters in the most intimate space of all. A man may experience physical closeness with many women, but he bonds deeply with the one who allows him to age without humiliation and to desire without pressure. He attaches to the woman who makes him feel significant, not scrutinized, chosen, not evaluated, welcomed, not tested. That feeling becomes memory, and memory becomes longing. If this conversation resonated with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Beyond 60 Stories, because these reflections are meant to be shared slowly, thoughtfully, and together.